Well, we've got four cruisers that have been arrested in a situation that authorities say could have been fatal. We also have a town that wants less cruisers, but they want more cruisers' money. It's an interesting scenario there. And a cruise ship that almost had to tell its guests to ration their water. Some interesting stories. Plus, I got stung by a wasp in the most bizarre way. All happening today on this episode. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loco. Welcome to the Cruise Show. I am your host, Tony, here to talk you through everything going on in cruising. It's everything going on in cruising. It's for your face on a Wednesday, the 23rd of July, 2025. And let's kick the show off talking about four cruisers that were arrested in Bermuda just yesterday on Tuesday. The four passengers were traveling on a Carnival cruise. Somewhere along the way, they were detained by ship security after it was determined that they had smuggled drugs on board. And allegedly, the idea was to distribute these drugs in Bermuda. As soon as the ship docked, they were turned over to authorities in Bermuda. Police said in a statement that they had a significant quantity of drugs, including cannabis and carfentanil. Apparently, carfentanil is a drug which is 100 times more potent than fentanyl and is often used to tranquilize elephants. Suspects are also accused of having vapes and THC gummies, but it's really that carfentanil that is the scary part of this story. It wouldn't take much to provide someone a lethal dose of that drug, and authorities really believe that this seizure has prevented future tragedy. I know some folks out there have been a little antagonistic about Carnival's efforts to detect illegal substances on their cruise ships with drug-sniffing dogs actually on the cruise, but certainly in scenarios like this where tragedy potentially averted, I applaud the efforts. I guess let me throw out a public service announcement. Hello, criminals. Do you desire to smuggle drugs into a foreign country on cruise ships? Well, more than likely you're going to get caught. Plus, you're doing a horrible thing that could, detrimentally hurt people. So stop it. Stop it. That's a message from your Uncle Tony. Now, certainly in that last story, we were talking about drugs of the narcotic variety, but let's talk about another drug. Let's talk about the drug of money. Drug of money. We have a cruise port, a very popular cruise port, that has tried multiple times to limit the amount of cruise passengers that can visit said cruise port. But every time that they bring an initiative to limit cruise passengers to their city, it gets defeated. So the folks that don't want the cruise ships are in the minority. And well, it's interesting because now we have that same city saying, well, I guess since we're going to have cruise passengers here, can we squeeze a little more money out of them? And, the drug of money, certainly, I've said it before, cruising is a booming business, billions and billions of dollars of money coming from cruisers, and everybody wants a little bit of that money. And now we have Juneau saying, you know what we should do? We should increase the taxes, the usage taxes in the city during the busiest time of the year. We should make sure that the cruisers are paying more money to use our restaurants, to go on our tours, to buy our souvenirs. We should do that. So what they're saying and what the assembly is going to vote on is instead of having a 5% usage tax in Juneau, let's kick that thing up to 7.5% during the busiest months of the year when the cruise passengers are in, and then we will lower it down to 3.5% when the cruise passengers aren't in town. They say there is precedent for it, that they do it in Skagway and that they do it in Ketchikan, that they have this sliding taxation scale. Another 2.5% tax, not that big a deal. I don't think people are going to, lose their mind about it. And if it's helpful to Juneau to handle to develop the infrastructure needed to handle all the cruise passengers, I'm certainly okay with that. But I think it's funny that, if you look at Juneau, it's like there's people like, oh, no cruise ships. And other people saying, well, if there's going to be cruise ships, let's make the most money off of cruise ships. I think it would be tough to be like a city planner or somebody running a city, but either way, I think the end of the day means the cruisers are going to pay more when you go to Juneau. So this hasn't come to a vote yet. And like, all the other votes about doing stuff to cruisers has fallen short in Juneau. I'll keep an eye on it to see what's happening in the capital city of Alaska. I do want to do a quick clarification from yesterday. Shout out to Sheila. Shout out to Frank. A couple people sent me more detailed information about the changes in the Princess packages, particularly in the drink package portion of Princess Premier and Princess Plus. I did note yesterday that there now will be a limit on the amount of bottled water that you can get in either one of those packages. And I mistakenly said that water counted toward your 15 drinks on Plus. Apparently, it's also outside of the package. So on both Princess Premier and Princess Plus, your daily allotment for bottled water is 12. So you can get 12 bottles of water each day, and they don't count against your drink count. Of course, the drink count on Princess Premier unlimited, and the drink count on Princess Plus is 15 drinks a day, and water doesn't count toward that. But I think soft drink does count toward that. I think coffee does count toward that. It's interesting. It's only $35 more per day to be Princess Premier instead of Princess Plus. And you get a lot of stuff for that $35, including drinking whatever you want inside of the drink package. So interesting move by Princess. I think maybe to entice more people to go Premier over Plus. I did get stung by a wasp about 20 minutes ago. I guess let me share that story with you now. It's the weirdest circumstance ever. I filmed it in real time. Let me show you this.
It's been a difficult few weeks, that's without saying. And sorry, I'm watching a wasp trying to fly through my window at the moment. Go away. What is the point of wasps? They're only put on... Go away now. Oh. Go away.
So I was watching John Hild's video at that exact moment. I got up to adjust my camera so I could start recording the show, and I got stung by a wasp. I don't know if you can see that, but that's so trippy. Here's the dead wasp. I shook it from my finger after the sting and stepped on it. I don't think I'm allergic, but man, it is stinging. It is stinging. Wow. That's a trip. I don't know what kind of magic they got over there. The John Hild sending wasps from England. I mean, obviously, that's just a weird coincidence, but it was at the exact moment. Okay, back to the show. What do you think? You think John Hild from Carnival's got some weird mojo that he was able to, send a wasp through a wormhole with the shush of his hand and make it land on my hand and sting me at the exact moment that he was talking about the wasp? I don't think that's true, but wow, what a weird coincidence. The reason I'm thinking about the wasp is I don't think I'm allergic. My finger continues to swell up and my tongue feels a little heavy, but I think I'm okay. I already called Jenny and told her I got stung by a wasp, so she's checking on me. Yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Another Carnival conversation. Just real quickly, if you're thinking about booking a Carnival cruise over the next few days, there's a sale going on from the 22nd through the 26th. So that's just a 4-day sale. They've got $49 per person deposits and $1 cabin upgrades, and they've got some discounted fares. Of course, there are exceptions. The $49 deposit doesn't include sailings to Alaska, Europe, and cruises on the latest cruise ships, the XL class cruise ships, the Mardi Gras, the Celebration, and the Jubilee. Those are $149, but I think that's still a reduced price. So if you are into it, Carnival sailors, this is a good time to maybe book a cruise. And then another big event happened just the other day where Celebration Key, we talked about it over the weekend, how the first cruise ship went there, the Carnival Vista. I commented that the footage I saw with just one cruise ship in was fantastic because there wasn't a big crowd. Well, now they've increased the size of the crowd. They had their very first day at Celebration Key where 2 cruise ships came in. The Carnival Conquest and the Carnival Glory came in together, dropping 7,000 passengers onto the island of Grand Bahama to the destination there, Celebration Key. And I kind of kicked myself a little bit. If I'd have thought about it, I'm not really good at keeping up when things are happening. I realized I could have got on the Carnival Elation a couple days ago and made it to Celebration Key for a quick look in the beginning. But I know I'm going in September, so no big deal. But that would have been a cool way to see it. And now let me hit you with this. There is a poster on Reddit that said they recently received an email about their 2026 Celebrity Millennium Cruise. that they were asking them if they could move the date. It was one of those familiar "Are your plans flexible" emails that we've seen Royal Caribbean and celebrities send out. And the poster on Reddit was like, why? Why are they doing this? I think it may be one of their first cruises. Well, they're doing it because the cruise is most likely oversold. It doesn't say in the email that the cruise is oversold, but normally when we see these "Are your plans flexible?" it really is an oversold situation. I put it out there just in case anybody is sailing on the Celebrity Millennium. I think it was March the 2nd, 2026, to make sure you check your email. If you can change your plans, it's pretty sweet. They're giving you a lot of incentives to change your plans. But yeah, check your email if you're sailing on the Celebrity Millennium. I just realized with the WASP thing happening, I completely haven't mentioned the passing of Ozzy Osbourne. And yeah, as a Gen Xer, as a child of the 70s, Ozzy and Black Sabbath have always been a part of my musical experiences. When I got older and started to experience, I don't know, I guess they're heavy metal, hard rock. And yeah, it was kind of a shock. I was over at Rocket Records looking at records. I was talking to Joe yesterday about Ozzy Osbourne. He just got a new Ozzy live album, kind of a rare album in. I picked up a couple records. I got in the car and I stopped at a stoplight and I looked down and I saw a flash on my phone. Ozzy Osbourne dead at 76. And then, of course, the outpouring on social media. Death comes for all of us, right? But it's interesting when death comes for certain people, how it makes you reflect on your life as a whole. I've never met Ozzy Osbourne. I only know him through his outputs. And so, it's strange how we're connected that way. You know, you could get heavily spiritual on it if you want. If you believe that we live in a created universe by a creator, then when we interact with, the image bearers of the creator creating things and we connect to that, then maybe we're somehow connected to the larger creator. I think that's true for me. And I know that might not be everybody's experience, but I think that's why I like art and I like music and films and any outputs from people, any creative outputs, because I do feel it's like the image bearers bearing the image of the one that created everything. So again, probably a little too spiritual for everybody today, but that's what happens when these people that make an impact in your life move on. I'm just imagining in my head, who knows how the afterlife truly works, but wouldn't it be cool if Ozzy and Randy Rhoads were up there jamming together and Lemmy Kilmister comes over? And yeah, it's a fun fantasy to have. But yeah, any of my fellow Gen Xers, Ozzy fans out there feeling it today, what's your favorite Ozzy song? Leave a comment below. Now let's talk about a cruising situation that I don't think I've ever heard of that could have been really bad. We have cruisers that are on the Ambassador Ambition doing a round trip cruise to Normandy and the British Isles. And shortly after boarding the cruise ship, they were notified, they were given this announcement: due to the events beyond our control, we were not able to load the normal amount of fresh water in Newcastle at the beginning of the cruise. And so they don't have enough fresh water to operate the cruise ship at its current itinerary. And what's wild is these cruise ships, they have a salination process where they can take seawater and make fresh water. But I guess there's some regulations as to where you can do that salination process. So the Ambition finds itself in a scenario where they didn't get enough fresh water in their embarkation port in Newcastle. They're not able to use the salination process, or the desalination process, I guess would be more accurate, take the salt out of the water. They wouldn't be able to use the desalination process to make fresh water. And so they were saying, look, we either have to make you guests ration your water, like not be able, I guess maybe not be able to use like your sink in your cabin or the bathroom. You would either have to ration your fresh water, or we're going to have to change the itinerary. That's a no-brainer choice. They have notified their guests that they will be changing their itinerary so that they can take on fresh water and have enough to continue on with the cruise. Crisis averted. But look, is it just another example of the curse of the poop cruise documentary? Dun, dun, dun. The ship's breaking down everywhere. Look, that's everything that's going on in cruising. I hope you enjoyed the show today. I really probably should take a Benadryl. I think I'm fine. If I'm not back tomorrow, then have questions. Wow. I can't believe I got stung by a wasp. Look, we're getting close to 300,000 subscribers, and I think you could help us out if you're not subscribed. Be a part of the number. Be a part of the first 300,000 members of the Loc fam. It doesn't cost anything. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching the show, and now there's nothing left to do but dance. Get up. Get up.